Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secure Team with some bona fide UFO mystery footage that I know you guys have been wanting lately. I've been wanting it, and so I've been digging deep and thinking, okay, what are some very mysterious UFO sightings of unknown things in our skies, in our atmospheres, that simply can't be explained? And well, I have a couple here to cross-reference between one another, see what maybe we can find or more information we can get, and well, by the end of it, you can put your comments and opinions down below. And so I want to start off with this new video that was posted to YouTube. The channel and link to this video I will put down below, but the title of the video he posted was, "Is it an unidentified aerial phenomena?" And from what I can gather, he was on a commercial flight flying from Frankfurt to Antalya, and where somewhere along the border between Austria and Hungary, near the city of Graz, he says he spotted a very mysterious black object hovering above the clouds. So we're talking 20-30,000 feet up, and there is something black moving up there above the clouds, just sort of checking things out. Who knows what is going on? So without further ado, here is that clip unstabilized, but you'll see it. We'll zoom in afterwards, and then we will talk about some other similar footage to objects that have likewise been spotted in our upper atmospheres, things that just, they scream off-world. You know, they don't seem to have any utility for being as high as they are up in the clouds, near airlines no less, which there is a strict policy that if this object here were said to be a weather balloon or something of that nature, which most of those are clear or gray, they don't turn up jet black like this object is here. They have a strict set of rules that these weather balloons and drones and things of that nature are not able to fly near or around or in the vicinity of commercial aircraft. It's in the FAA guidelines, and so that kind of ruled out this being a weather balloon right away. And well, here is that footage, so stay tuned. Okay, so obviously we're talking 20-30,000 feet up above the cloud cover. We have an obvious dark, possibly metallic, but circular and black in shape and color, just sort of sitting static amongst the clouds. Now, weather balloons and things of that nature, they tend to drift at a very high rate of speed. They go up, up, up. They don't sit there as a sort of a black sphere. Nor are they allowed to be near commercial jets, simply for safety reasons. And so whatever this is, I really don't have any fabric of my being that says that this is a weather balloon. Then again, we could have the local governments or the FAA come out at any time and say, hey, it was just a weather balloon. I mean, how many times over the years has weather balloon been used as the go-to reasoning behind a UFO sighting or something strange or unexplainable seen in the skies? Oh, it was just a weather balloon reflecting light off of Venus into some swamp gas, and don't worry about it, that's all it was. But I'm not seeing that here, guys. And just to give you examples of some other strange high altitude objects that we have featured on this channel and other channels have featured over the years, I want you guys just to see some of these obviously mechanical structures that have been captured via satellite imagery weather satellite, radar, and even just your typical handheld phone cameras down here on Earth, the types of craft that have been seen just sort of eerily lingering up in the clouds. Sometimes they're much lower in the clouds, sometimes they're 30,000 feet up to where you can only see these things out of a commercial jet or something of that nature. And so here is the first clip that I want to show you that came from a Secure Team video I posted back in 2016 or 17, I believe, where we were monitoring a weather satellite looking over the west coast. So we have California here to the left, Texas down below, Nevada, some other states here, and we were monitoring the cloud cover when all of a sudden some sort of meetup between unknown craft, a meetup, a connection, what have you, I don't know, but it appears and manifests in an object, a very dark object, seen blasting up through the atmosphere at what we calculated to be 2,200 to 25,000 miles per hour, is how fast this object came blasting up through the upper atmosphere. And at one point you can see a second object coming up fast behind it and connecting with it before it continues on and disappears, heading towards space, likely. And so go ahead and check this video out. I'll let it play for a minute, but just to put in context here, some of the other things that we found blasting up from Earth that aren't rockets, there were no rockets scheduled this day, things that are in our atmosphere, and that seem to be blasting off of our planet back towards space. So give this a watch, and we'll come back and show you yet some more strange footage of these structures.
Blasting up through the clouds in a direction that looks to be almost like it's coming from the coast of California, heading up through the clouds, growing larger and larger, so going higher and higher up in the atmosphere to the point where it was above the clouds. And that's when you see this very large, dark object flying, completely blasting through the sky in a southeast direction. You're seeing that looped over here. So as I'm talking, you can see this thing looping. The object comes into frame right over California, grows larger as it's gaining altitude, and that's when we see this black object with what appears to be the producing of almost like you would think of a bow shock in front of the object or objects. Actually, it looks to be like there's two objects here, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But as you guys are seeing it, right when it comes into frame and you get a good look at it, you can see this atmospheric effect happening around the object. Again, like a bow shock. It's technically like when you would think of a boat that is traveling through the water, which then has an equal but opposite effect on the water and begins to create ripples around the boat as it moves through. Well, take that example and put it to the atmosphere, and that's what we're seeing. It's a phenomenon that can also be seen with some of the world's most fastest jets. That you'll start to see this vapor cloud. Some call it a vapor donut, but it's a circular vapor cloud that appears circling around the craft. And so we've been showing you the zoomed in shot of this object, okay? And I've been analyzing it here. And there's a few things I notice about it, okay? One, it's moving at an extremely high rate of speed, coming from what looks to be the coast. Piercing up through the clouds, starts as a small little black dot. It grows bigger, and as I played with the footage and I upped the contrast, lowered the brightness a bit because this is really washed out, it gave me some more detail about what I was looking at. And as I analyzed the footage and slowed it down, I noticed that this isn't just one object, there is a second object that is flying up with the first one, almost as if they're meeting. And it only happens in a couple of frames before that second smaller object disappears. I don't know if it's, it's attached to this larger one, but I'm going to show you that here. So we're going to go step by step, frame by frame, and then we're going to stop it right as this second object appears. So here we are. Here is the small black original object flying up, and right here is where you see this larger object appear. See, this object that we're seeing coming in from the coast may not even be what this large object is that we see at the very end. Because you'll notice that this small black dot, it gets to this area right here. And as I pause it here, and we'll just go through these little 3 frames here, you can see 2 objects. You can see the small black dot here on the left that we see coming up from the coast, and that's when we see this other larger black object appear right next to it, to its right side. And so if that is indeed what we're seeing here, then that would mean that this larger object has just appeared out of nowhere. And as we go a few frames further, you can still see both objects moving together, with the black object growing larger and larger, creating more of an atmospheric disturbance around him. And that's where the frame loop stops. The smaller black object has now vanished, and all we see in this last frame is the large, black, unknown, completely mysterious structure, as it would appear to be growing higher and higher in altitude. Who knows, is it heading towards space? And that is a very good possibility, because this is coming from a satellite, guys, a weather satellite. So this is not just some little plane, okay? This satellite, for it to be able to pick up something this large, that means that this object is not only very large, but it is high up in the atmosphere and is so close to the satellite that the satellite can actually pick it up. Because I can assure you, these weather satellites, they do not pick up your standard commercial airliners, which are much lower in the atmosphere and that do not move at such a high rate of speed. Nor does this look like a plane.
Okay, so I won't play any more of that clip, but I'll put the link to the full video down below. But you guys get the gist. In that particular instance, we had a radar satellite picking up an object, traveling at amazing speed. I mean, there is no other way to put it. An amazing breakneck speed, meets up with a second object and continues on its way towards space, I'm guessing. And, you know, then back to this object here, which is just yet another black object seen sort of lingering above or within the cloud cover here, 20, 30,000 feet up. Doesn't seem to be doing of much. Certainly looks black and circular to me. And lastly, to provide even further context of some of these strange craft caught much lower in our cloud cover, here are a few findings that were sent in to my fellow YouTuber and friend, Mr. MBB333, where he was analyzing a couple of images where, again, what could only be described as very sharp, very angular, very artificial looking objects had appeared to be blending in with the local cloud cover. Baffles the mind once you see just how mechanical and structured some of these objects are.
Let's continue on and you'll see what I mean by it's part of something bigger. Check it out. Do you see it? You'll see it in one of these filters. This is like a negative format. And I zoomed in, obviously, a little bit closer. Do you see it yet? That tubular thing is on top of a big triangle. See it there? Let me stop it for just a second. What I've done is taken the original photo that she sent in, and I've put it in the movie editor and have adjusted the contrast, lighting, and then used different filter techniques. And here is the outline of the very large craft that blends in quite well, but you can see the features of the edge of this thing. And whatever this is appears to be setting perpendicular. Had that happen to me myself. Okay, this is the one from the Netherlands. This is the one from Florida. I got in pretty tight on that photograph there. Here we go. Here's a little farther away view. You can see the similarities. The angle's even kind of the same. But on this one over here, you can totally tell it's part of something much bigger going on above the Netherlands. So good observation, both of you two. Very good. I personally have never seen anything quite like that myself. I've seen some things over the years out here in Arizona specifically that I simply can't identify. Here's another good look at this thing, but it's few and far between. And usually when you see things that you can't identify, you're unprepared, you don't have your camera ready, you're just totally...
Okay, so great work by Mr. MBB. He was reviewing two different photos here, one showing a blimp and a strange sort of pipe-shaped object up off to the left, and then another image showing a clear-cut triangular-shaped object sitting amongst the clouds, and underneath further scrutiny, that triangular object becomes even more rugged, even more artificial looking, and even more that it doesn't belong to this neighborhood. And so, yeah, we have featured probably thousands of images and footage like this on Secure Team, so if you haven't seen them yet, go back. If you're new to the channel, go back, start from the very first video, and work your way back up. It can't take you more than a month or two, but you will get up to speed on every strange thing we have seen in our skies, on our moon, out in space, in the oceans, and it'll really give you a great idea. By the time you get back to the new videos we're posting, you can say, hey, Tyler has gone over an ocean of evidence here, and there's without a doubt something going on, something being covered up. Things are in our skies, whether they are ours and they're being tested by us, or they are coming from off planet and doing some sort of reconnaissance here on Earth to watch us. Be the judge of that, as always. So, with that, back to this main piece of footage. Big thanks to the viewer who posted this. I'll put the link to it down below, as well as Mr. MBB's video. Much love to all of the truth seekers out here who are working together to get to the truth. If you like my channel, be sure to subscribe, share on your way out. We're almost at 2.3 million viewers, which is amazing. The biggest channel on YouTube as it pertains to strange things happening on and off of our planet. Can't thank you guys enough. Be sure to stop by our online t-shirt shop. They're going out quick. Grab some merch, look hot, support the truth, help channels like ours continue going, and we'll keep rocking and rolling on my end. I'll keep pushing forward, keep gathering evidence, and if you have your own evidence, don't hesitate to send it forward. I will get to it, I promise. So thanks again, guys. What is in our skies? Only time will tell, but until then, sleep tight tonight, stay safe, and I will see you all back in just a bit.